Admit it, how your gear looks can affect your playing. I was driving with my wife and Phil Wickham happened to pop up on our stereo. She remarked, "I forgot I liked this guy's music. He's the handsome one, right?" And she immediately googled Phil Wickham to confirm that he is indeed handsome, right in front of me. Nonetheless, it got me thinking about how visual appeal has an influence on the receptivity of music, and by extension, how we play on our instruments. Let's unpack this. We know the correct answer. Looks shouldn't matter. We'll take a stand that there should be nothing distracting on stage so that worshippers can fully focus on God. But yet, look around and aesthetics plays a significant role in our human experience. It's undeniably in the church, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. In a study by a Harvard and Juilliard trained music psychologist, audiences were asked to judge a musician's performance based on the following scenarios: audio only, video only, and the same video with audio. These were the observations. With no visuals, listeners rated performances pretty evenly, but when they could see the performer, their judgments changed. They reported that the music sounded more expressive, more polished, even more emotional. It turns out that body language, facial expression, and yes, the overall look does play a factor in receptivity. And when the study methodology extended to judgment at international competitions, it appeared that the winners of said competitions did indeed have better visuals than the rest. The winners were those who played with more expression, more flair, and maybe not coincidentally, dressed better, which means style really does sway substance. So what does that mean for us as players in church? If we believe we should sound the same on any piece of gear, in theory, we're right. But in practice, our brains just don't work that way. Sight is one of our strongest senses, and it feeds directly into how we feel and respond. That's why a visually appealing piece of gear can actually make us play better. Not because the materials changed, which is indeed a strong factor, but because we changed. We just feel better with nicer looking gear. Which brings us to today's sponsor, Keep Hi-Fi, who sent me what I think are the most bling in-ear monitors I've ever seen. This model is the Ear Acoustic Audio STA-K Silver Angel, which my wife and kids immediately gravitated towards because look at that, shiny bling. And this is the KZ Taurus, which is also quite bling by IEM standards. I posted the question on Instagram if you wear the Silver Angel IEMs, and this is what you guys said. No, what's the point? No, too attention grabbing. Not really too distracting. Bling serves no function. Function over form every time. Stewardship more than style. The $10,000 guitars and gear we see in church are more problematic. No, the bling can be reflected by lighting, which can cause reflection and distraction. I had the opportunity to test if aesthetics truly were going to be a distracting factor if not just the guitar was flashy but also the IEMs. For context, I was going to serve in another worship band, and in this band, the worship leader specifically asked me to bring my Gibson Explorer. Now, this is the flashiest guitar that I own as far as shape goes. So I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to bring along the Silver Angel. Because if I had a flashy guitar and flashy IEMs, were people going to notice? Were they going to come up to me and tell me that it was too visually distracting? Here's how that went down. Nobody said anything. Nothing about the guitar, nothing about the IEMs, not even when I sat down to take off the IEMs and right in front of other people during the team huddles. And mind you, these were guys from a slightly more conservative Chinese worship background. If I was going to receive any feedback about how visually distracting my stuff was, this was going to be it. But as it turned out, no one really said anything. So it seems to come down to you, the player, whether you are comfortable with the things that you bring to church. just so that I can fulfill my duty as a reviewer for these IEMs that Keep Hi-Fi so kindly sent to me, I'm going to produce a very non-scientific frequency response chart right here. The chart is an XY graph of frequency response over perceived volume. The red line is how I'm hearing the Silver Angel, and the blue line is how I'm hearing the Taurus. Let's start with the Taurus. The Taurus is a much more even IEM. It is a bit more perceived low end, but it has no mid-range dip. The mid-range is clear, the high end isn't shriekingly loud, and therefore I think this is great for musicians who play in a team. The Silver Angel, to my ears, appear to cater more to the casual listener. And for some reason, audio companies think that the scooped EQ is what consumers want in their listening devices. Because of that mid-scoop, the treble is a lot more pronounced, and after a while, I was getting a little bit of fatigue hearing vocals and dialogue. But with the increased low end, I could hear the kick and the bass better. So pro tip, if you're buying the Silver Angel for band purposes, you might want to turn down the vocals a tad so that your ears don't get assaulted with all that high end. And if you're a music director, I do recommend the Taurus over the Silver Angel. Not all of you were against the Silver Angel. These are some of the positive responses. 100%. Yes, because bling bling. Yes, in-ears are not visible, so if you like the design, why not? Unless the sparkles blind someone when you move your head. Yes, because ain't no one seeing that. So should you run out and buy the fanciest, flashiest gear you can find? Not necessarily, but it does mean aesthetics matter. If your instrument inspires you when you look at it, that's not shallow, it's a real psychological boost. If you're performing, how you present yourself visually matters just as much as how you sound. So don't glue yourself to the music stand, look up and worship. Which also means memorize your music. And if you feel yourself come alive with a certain instrument in your hands, that's not superstition. That's just science. So yes, the aesthetics of your gear do change the way you play. Not because the notes sound different, but because you are. Our perception of beauty and style feeds back into our performance. But I'm curious, do you feel the same way? Have you played on an instrument that just made you feel unstoppable? Or do you think bling is just wrong? Drop your story in the comments because I think we've all experienced it. And if you found this perspective eye-opening, insert that joke here. Hit like, share this with a friend who's obsessed with gear, and subscribe for more conversations on music and ministry. Check out the playlist that's popping out after this, and I'll see you in the next one.